And this is only 5 months. Can you imagine what it would look like if you gave it 10 months or maybe a full year? If it's one thing that every gardener needs, it is compost. Sometimes you'll be using compost at least twice a year in your garden. But then again, how in the world can we make compost? So I did an experiment 5 months ago when it comes to 3 different barrels on 3 different type of composting materials. Which one did the best? Which one did the worst? We're going to find out. What's going on, my plant peoples? I am the ADHD gardener, where I use gardening, houseplants, and humor as a much needed form of mental health therapy when it comes to sobriety, ADHD tips and lifes and hacks and tricks on how to survive this crazy world using my garden. And welcome to my experiment that I started 5 months ago. Now, normally 5 months is not enough to actually create and make your compost. When it comes to making compost, you can really start the process and make this process go a lot faster if you were turning it. But we all know that I have some medical health issues, and turning compost is not back friendly at all. I have back issues, so that means I needed to find a way of making some passive compost, which means turning a bunch of materials into compost by not turning it. So in another video I will talk about my bioreactor compost, but for now it is about the stuff that I have in the barrels. Did it compost in time? Did it not compost in time? What does it look like for just composting for just only 5 months? Will something accidentally go wrong? I don't know. Let's find out. So the first barrel is going to be strictly just leaves. That's going to be like the control. I don't know if you want to call it that. Just leaves and just water. That whole barrel. This barrel right here is going to have leaves and manure. All right. So that one's going to be like that. And then the third barrel right over here, this one's going to be wood chips, leaves, and manure. So place your bets right now. Which one do you think is going to break down and turn into compost faster? Will it actually work? Of course it's going to work. It's going to compost. It's going to break down. It's organic matter. So inevitably this will break down and then turn into compost or something of the nature. But let's just figure out which one's going to, go out faster. This one, as you can see here, has compacted the most. I'm not going to tell you which one that is yet. This one, not exactly the most movement out of here. Still has a lot of compaction to go, but it did go down a little bit. And this one didn't seem like it went down a lot at all. I mean, it went down a little bit, but not nearly enough. And it's quite surprisingly considering what you're seeing right here. Do you see a dog? We're gonna play a game, a little side quest. Catch the dog. Can you find the brown dog amongst all the brown materials out here? I have 3 large garden plots that would require a boatload of compost. So each barrel is going to go into that plot. Then we're going to knock it over, and then we're going to reveal what's inside of them and is there anything good, bad, or unexpected in them.
That's heavy.
I bet it is. That's why I am not doing it. Yeah, you guessed it. It does stink. Ooh. It smells really, really bad. The reason why, it went anaerobic. Yeah. When you do not have any oxygen flow in it, it is gonna smell, and it's gonna smell real bad. The smell will dissipate over time as you spread around all that compost. But let me tell you, in the beginning, when you first empty the barrel, woo, that's pretty bad. What is that? We're seeing all these white little larvae thingy in my compost. What is that? Someone tell me. They're all over this leaf pile. Yep, you guessed it, termite larvae. Now, normally that would not really be a problem if it wasn't so close to my house. Now I'm a little concerned because I don't want them traveling and getting into my house somehow. So my solution is to fence up this little area and bring my chickens so they can start doing all what they do best, eating bugs. While they're eating the bugs, they will be spreading around all that compost. So they'll be doing most of the work for me, even better. This is the pile with just leaves and a little bit of soil. So there is really nothing in there except for just those little termites. The question is now, why is there so many termites in this barrel? And will there be termites in the rest of the other barrels? I'm not sure, but I have a feeling it has to do with something about the leaves and the leaves being by themselves with just a little bit of soil. Hot compost or hot manure comes from animals like horses, cows, pigs, and also chickens. That means that compost can burn and kill your soil, kill your plants, and that's why it needs to be going through the compost process. This area is strictly for tomatoes and peppers. I'm gonna just not plant them here until later on into May. So that gives me a little more time. But still, they could be going around and eating all those termites. All right, this is the barrel with the wood chips, the leaves, the manure, and the soil. I wonder what this one's gonna look like.
this one looks more.
Oh, which one is this one? Say that again.
This one looks more broken down.
Ooh, this one is the wood chips. Okay. I do not smell anything so far.
This one doesn't smell as bad.
Wow. Okay. This was the topper. Just a little bit of leaves on here. But surprisingly, this does not smell. Wow. Okay. Okay. I wonder. Let me know down in the comments below. Why do you think this one smells less? Because this one has the wood chips. Whoa, okay, toward the bottom, there was a bunch of leaves. It still doesn't smell that bad, to be honest. It really doesn't. While Jose comes back, just check this out. Let me tell you, I am quite pleasantly surprised. And this is only 5 months. Can you imagine what it would look like if you gave it 10 months or maybe a full year? All right. Ooh, that smells. My goodness.
Good, you're downwind from it.
Woo, that smells. Whoa, yo, that smells real bad. Now, the reason that you're gonna get a very bad smell, and that is because your compost went anaerobic. So that means without air, without oxygen. So that is what the smell is coming from. If you had more oxygenation, you had more airflow, if you were turning your compost, then it would not be a problem. You would not smell that. But because I did not turn this, it was left in the barrel, it smells hardcore. My goodness. I mean, aside from the smell, it doesn't look terrible, but it does need a little more time. That's why I really stress and emphasize that chopping up those leaves will really help, in sparing you a lot of time. So this is what I'm thinking, that those 3 barrels is great. 1 per large plot. I'm actually thinking if it was up to me, then it would be 2 barrels. One observation is I really did not see a termite problem in that section or that section, so I'm actually quite surprised. Another difference I've noticed is look at the coverage. The wood chips one did not give me a lot of coverage at all, though the compost did look better. This one that had the manure, soil, and leaves, this one had more coverage, but that probably had to do with the amount of leaves that were still around, and then it didn't fully decompose. You know what? It turns out after the chickens were done, that was not a lot of compost either. It had to do with the leaves only. But, I don't know. Over here in this first section, that 1 barrel really didn't do it. In this section, it's really going to ideally want 2 barrels. So 2 barrels here in the first one, where the wood chips was, 2 barrels. And then ideally, even though that third one had more coverage, it's still 2 barrels. Stay tuned for my upcoming reveal for the bioreactor video, because that one's been sitting there for a longer period of time. And we have the dog who wants to just chill on my composted area that I'm going to be gardening in soon. I really hope you enjoyed this video and you got some good information out of it. Let me know down in the comments below. Have you composted? Have you tried experimenting with compost? I think I may come up with a few different ways for this year. Maybe I'll add some worms into these bins and see what happens to it. I guess we'll find out. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to smash that like button. I really appreciate it. And also share this video to anyone who wants to learn a little something about some compost. And don't forget, you can catch me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And until the next episode, you guys, where you and me both are going to be growing our happiness 1 plant at a time, 1 day at a time. I'll check y'all later in the next episode. Peace and love.